Well, welcome to this episode of This Old Pew. My name is Dave Sundberg, and I'll be your host today. And I want to go into some works today. As I've been doing some reading, I have run across a gentleman by the name of Larry Peacock. And he is a spiritual director and the director of Rolling Ridge Retreat Center in North Andover, Massachusetts. He's a spiritual director and a retreat leader. And he has a wonderful passage in the book Rhythm and Fire, a collection of an anthology published by Upper Room Books. And he talks about Psalm 63. So I suppose that's where we need to start. So let's go ahead and dive in. Psalm 63 is a psalm of David when he was in the Judean desert. God, my God, it's you. I search for you. My whole being thirsts for you. My body desires you in a dry and tired land. No water anywhere. Yes, I've seen you in the sanctuary. I've seen your power and glory. My lips praise you because your faithful love is better than life itself. So I will bless you as long as I'm alive. I will lift up my hands in your name. I am fully satisfied as with a rich dinner. My mouth speaks praise with joy on my lips whenever I ponder you on my bed, whenever I meditate on you in the middle of the night, because you've been a help to me, and I shout for joy in the protection of your wings. My whole being clings to you. Your strong hand upholds me. But what about those people who want to destroy me? Let them go into the bowels of the earth. Let their blood flow by the sword. Let them be food for wild jackals. But the king should rejoice in God. Everyone who swears by God should give praise when the mouths of liars are shut for good. Well, let's hear Larry Peacock's response to this. The passage is entitled A Psalm, a Longing. It grabbed hold of me and wouldn't let go. A strange thing to say about a Bible passage, but that's what happened. Psalm 63 reached out and laid hold of me. For the longest time, it named and marked a particular segment of my spiritual journey. The psalm was telling me to pay attention to my deep longing. You are my God. I long for you from early in the morning. My whole being desires you like a dry, worn, waterless land. My soul thirsts for you. Psalm 63, verse 1. The psalmist sings my lines. I longed for a closer relationship with God. I thirsted for a sense of God's nearness. The longing led me to a sabbatical year living with Quakers in Pendle Hill, a study center outside of Philadelphia. There I learned to befriend silence, to focus on listening to God who often speaks in the still small voice. Sitting in silence in the daily meetings for worship opened me to the depths of yearning. In the sanctuary, let me see how mighty are your works. That's verse 2. I began to glimpse the deep love that God has for me. Still, the ache and longing persisted. I was stuck in the waterless land and the thirst expressed in the opening verses of Psalm 63. I feared leaving the Quaker community and trying to develop a regular pattern of morning prayer. On my own, I had never been successful. Yet Psalm 63 had nudged a longing and a desire. Imagine my surprise and comfort to discover Psalm 63 as part of the morning prayer pattern at the next long retreat I attended after completing my sabbatical year with the Quakers. Every morning we sang Psalm 63. Its melody heightened my longing and opened me to verses beyond that poignant longing. The chanting of the verses led me to a God whose love is better than life itself, who has always been my constant help. It gradually dawned on me that my great longing for God was surpassed by the longing of God for me. Howard Thurman once wrote, "With sustained excitement, I recall what, in my own urgency, I had forgotten. God is seeking me. Blessed remembrance, God is seeking me. Wonderful assurance, God is seeking me. How could I have forgotten?" Yet often our focus on our own needs blinds us to the signs of God's love and presence around us. God tries to get our attention in hundreds of ways, seeking to make a home in us. I began to sense a shift when singing Psalm 63. My longing was now joined by wholehearted thanks and praise, gratitude for each new day, for the Psalms, and for God who drew me into relationship with another retreat group of pilgrims and seekers. I began to move from simply longing for God to discovering ways to pay attention to God's activity in my life. Even more, I discovered that God not only longs for me, but God aches for the whole world. God's longing is wider and deeper than my individual quest. It echoes throughout history and all of creation as well as in every heart. This knowledge led me to write the following lines of a prayer. God, you ache every time we destroy beauty, every time we harm one another, every time we ignore the outstretched hand and turn away from the poor and wounded. You call us to care for each other, to give up our greedy habits and our violent ways. I still love to sing Psalm 63 from the Upper Room Worship Book, though I don't need the words or the book anymore. I know the melody and lyrics and have internalized the message and wisdom. Psalm 63 remains a dear friend and companion of many years, naming my longing and guiding me to the source and fulfillment. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I thank you for joining me today, and I hope your week will be good. I hope that you will be blessed and enjoy.